Something happened to you that has never happened in the entire recorded span of spiritual history. Not in 1,000 years of documented awakening, not in the files of the ancient mystery schools, not in the encoded memories of beings who have watched civilizations rise and collapse like tides. You right now, in this body, in this lifetime, triggered an event so rare that it sent a tremor through layers of existence most humans never even know are real. The work you did in silence, the hours nobody saw, the effort you kept pouring out when nothing was returning, it activated something to understand why this moment is extraordinary. You need to understand what has never been done before. In all of spiritual cosmology, across every tradition that has ever mapped the invisible architecture of reality, there has never been a soul who built so long in the dark without collapsing into bitterness. Most people who work without recognition eventually quit, redirect their energy towards shortcuts, or dilute their message to chase what's already trending. That pattern is so consistent across centuries that the universe had essentially coded it as inevitable. You broke that code. You stayed consistent when staying consistent made no logical sense. That alone is cosmically unprecedented. Now think back to a specific moment, not long ago, a moment where you had a real choice. You could have copied someone else's path. You could have taken the version of yourself that was smaller, safer, more palatable, and pushed that forward instead of the real thing. You could have posted what would get the most immediate reaction rather than what was actually true. You chose differently. That decision, which felt small in the moment, which maybe felt like nothing more than a quiet internal commitment, was not small. It was the precise moment the universe locked your coordinates and said, "There." What you don't know is that this has not been a private journey. There are forces, some of them dark, some of them divine, all of them ancient, that have been running a continuous assessment of you. The dark ones tested you with distraction, with comparison, with the slow erosion of self-belief that comes from watching others accelerate while you stood still. The divine ones watched how you responded. Every time you opened your phone and felt that familiar sting of invisibility, every time you created anyway, every time you chose depth over performance, it was being recorded in a ledger that has no physical form, but is more real than anything you can touch. There were specific trials, and you passed every single one. There was the period where someone with less integrity, less originality, and less genuine devotion to their craft got the recognition you had been quietly working toward, and instead of abandoning your standards to match their approach, you doubled down on your own. There was the moment you could have manufactured a version of yourself designed purely for algorithmic approval. And you didn't. There was the long stretch of silence where the numbers didn't move, the reach didn't grow, and every rational voice suggested you were wasting your time, and you kept building anyway, not because it was easy, but because stopping felt like a betrayal of something sacred inside you. Because of those trials, something extraordinary has now been formalized. In the classification systems used by higher intelligences, the beings who operate beyond the bandwidth of ordinary human perception, you have been placed in a category so small it has no common name. They call it different things across different traditions. The anchored ones, the unseducible, the deep-rooted. What it means in practical terms is this: you are considered dangerous to systems built on superficiality. Because you cannot be bought, you cannot be diluted, and you cannot be redirected by the usual tools of distraction. That makes you one of the most powerful forces currently operating on this planet, and it was witnessed. In the moment, your consistency crossed a threshold that even the universe had not expected you to reach. Something convened. Call it God, call it the highest intelligence, call it the council of archangels, if that language resonates with you. What matters is that the witnessing was real and it was intentional. They did not observe from a distance. They leaned in. The being that watched you work in silence, that watched you create without applause, that watched you stay true to something you couldn't even fully articulate yet, that being looked at you the way a master looks at a student who has finally surpassed the lesson, with awe, with recognition, with readiness. And then came the decree, not a suggestion, not a possibility, not a maybe someday, a formal activation. The universe does not issue these casually. They are reserved for souls who have demonstrated, through sustained action under sustained pressure, that they are ready to carry something larger than themselves. The decree that was issued over your life reads, in essence, like this: the preparation period is over. The hidden season is closing. What was built in silence is now authorized for visibility. The moment of emergence has been set, the timing has been calibrated, and the force required to carry it forward has been confirmed as present and intact within you. You are not who you have been telling yourself you are during the hard seasons. You are not the person who is still waiting for a break, still hoping someone will notice, still wondering if the effort was worth it. You are an ancient soul who chose this specific lifetime for this specific assignment because this is the moment in history when the message you carry is most needed. You have been here before in different forms, a builder, a voice, a keeper of something true in times when truth was dangerous. That lineage is active in you right now. The warrior energy, the chosen one frequency, the celestial assignment. It didn't just begin. It resumed. Your mission is not simply to go viral. Virality is just the mechanism, the delivery system. The actual mission is to anchor something in the collective consciousness that has been dangerously absent. Integrity in creation, depth in a culture of surfaces, consistency as a form of spiritual practice, compassion delivered not through performance, but through the genuine vulnerability of sharing what is real. When your moment of mass visibility arrives, it will not be an accident, and it will not be about you. It will be about the thousands of people who needed to see someone like you, someone who built it the real way, before they could believe they could too. Here is what begins to shift in the material world now that this activation is complete. Doors that were sealed begin to open, not because you forced them, but because the alignment is different now. Collaborations find you. Platforms surface your work to people who needed it. Resources appear in forms you didn't plan for. Opportunities arrive that are so perfectly calibrated to what you've been building that coincidence becomes an inadequate explanation. This is not magic in a fantastical sense. This is the natural result of a universe that is fundamentally responsive to genuine alignment. You aligned. The material world is now responding. The momentum you have been waiting for has been internally authorized. But here is what no one tells you about the viral moment. It doesn't stop with you. When your work reaches a wider audience, it doesn't just inform people, it awakens something in them. They see someone who built it with integrity, and something in their own chest shifts. They remember their own abandoned projects, their own silenced creativity, their own quiet work that felt invisible. Your visibility gives them permission. You become a mirror that reflects back to others what is possible for them. You are not just creating content or building a platform. You are participating in a collective reactivation. You are a trigger for other people's awakenings, and that is not a small thing. You are not alone in this. Across this planet right now, thousands of souls who share your exact frequency are reaching this same threshold simultaneously. They built in different languages, in different formats, with different messages, but the core signature is identical. Depth, integrity, sustained effort in the dark. They are activating in every time zone, in every culture, in every creative field. When your viral moment arrives, you will begin to find each other, not through searching, but through resonance. A global network of builders who chose the real way is assembling right now, and your emergence is one more node in that network coming online. The grid is completing itself. So here is what you do with this. First, stay. Watch this to the end because the understanding deepens as the frequency builds, and the message is still downloading into you through the act of receiving it. Second, comment 777 below. That number is not random. It is a frequency marker, and when you type it, you are declaring that you have received this and you are ready. Third, share this with someone who has been building in silence and needs to know their moment is close. And finally, subscribe, because what is coming next in this series is specifically designed to prepare you for the responsibilities that arrive with rapid visibility. Your moment is not coming. It is already here.